Meanwhile, Croatia broke the cartel to reach their first ever final, and Belgium came close to doing the same. So is it all change and all bets off in international football? Yes and no. The compelling upsets in Russia do suggest that the winds of change are blowing through football, partly driven by the huge sums of money now sloshing around the game. Ultimately, however, the story of Russia 2018 was not all unpredictable anarchy but the consolidation of a new power in international football, the deserving winners, France. Having won their first World Cup in Paris in 1998, France have now reached 3 of the past 6 finals as well as the final of the 2016 European Championship. The French squad contained 3 of the 5 most expensive footballers ever, or will do, once Kylian Mbappe's transfer to Paris Saint-Germain is completed. This could be just the beginning of the French football empire. With an average age of 25 years and 10 months, among squad members who played a game, these French champions are younger than every World Cup winner except the famous Brazil of 1970, 25 years and 9 months. The brilliant 19-year-old Mbappe could potentially play in another 4 tournaments. Then again, youthful Brazil did not win another World Cup for 24 years after 1970. That's football, thank goodness. Having tipped and backed them, I was happy to see France beat the Fighting Croats. But stop the predictable nonsense, please, about this being a triumph for the European Union. Mbappe's parents, from the former French colonies of Cameroon and Algeria, might have trouble even getting into the EU's fortress Europe from Africa today. International football is about national loyalties. There is a reason why France coach Didier Deschamps ended his victory speech on Sunday with the historic cry of "Vive la République," rather than "Vive l'Union Européenne." England in not too bad. Shocker. The rising wave of enthusiasm behind Gareth Southgate's England was followed by an air of almost national disbelief that we had lost the semi-final to Croatia and football was not coming home after all. Both reactions confirm that, as noted on Spike during the tournament, the one thing we seem guaranteed to lose when it comes to our national game is a sense of perspective. England actually did alright, and slightly better than many of us expected before the tournament. Being beaten by a talented Croatian team was surely an advance on being humiliated by Iceland at Euro 2016. But England's record in Russia, played 7, won 3, lost 3 and drew 1, before the penalty shootout success against Colombia, hardly justified the headlines about glory. In the end, England confirmed their status as an ordinary collection of international players, without a star creative or controlling midfielder, relatively few of whom are now automatic choices for the top Premier League sides. England coach Southgate won a lot of praise for his relaxed media style and creation of a feel-good factor around the England camp. His ability to do the job of coaching an international football team in a crisis, making the right selections, substitutions and tactical changes, remains open to question. The draw and the exit of top teams meant that England were presented with their easiest ever route to a World Cup final, but were not good enough to take that possibly one-off opportunity. I take no pleasure in being proved right about this England team's limitations. Although watching the French attack in the second half on Sunday, one was left with the sense that narrowly losing that semi-final might have been a mercy-killing to spare greater pain later. England were alright, no more or less. But they are still a young side who should get better, albeit without an Mbappe among them. And in 2 years, football really will be coming home with the semi-finals and final of the European Championships at Wembley. We live in some small hope, even though we know it is the hope that kills you. Now can we have our ball back, please? It was good to see millions of people evidently bursting with joy and excitement about England's progress to the semi-final. I even felt the mood thousands of miles away, while bizarrely watching the match against Croatia on a big screen aboard a ship floating off the coast of Alaska. After half an hour, with England leading 1-0, the ship lost its TV signal. To cheers from the crowd, the English captain ordered the bridge to change course and get it back ASAP. Yet throughout the World Cup party, you did not have to look very deep to find that there were, as Brendan O'Neill put it on Spiked last week, two Englands. There were the football fans caught up in the special atmosphere of a World Cup. And then there were those phony fans who latched onto this multi-ethnic England team as a symbol of positive patriotism, as opposed to the negative national feeling behind the Brexit vote, you understand, and could still barely disguise the disdain with which they looked down upon the flag-waving, beer-drinking, chucking masses. One reason why these types seemed so keen to identify with England and Russia was surely the relative absence of the traditional working-class supporters whom they view as knuckle-dragging throwbacks. As the Daily Telegraph, which knows a thing or two about the middle classes, observed, those who did make the expensive trip to Russia for the early games constituted a small army of middle-class England fans numbering lecturers, chartered accountants, investment bankers, company CEOs and the like. Despite FIFA's fears, there would be no abusive courses of "fuck off Europe, we all voted out" from such well-heeled supporters. When we lost, it seemed to be the new breed of faux fans at home who took it hardest and wept on cue for the cameras, seemingly in disbelief that it was not coming home after all. As Rod Little noted in The Spectator, those who follow football all the time are better used to defeats, especially if, like Rod, they support a team such as Millwall, and able to accept that in the end it's only a game, albeit the greatest game on earth, the most important relevance in our lives. So, we're glad you enjoyed the World Cup. Now, show your true colors and get back to berating the revolting proles for daring to wave the flag for leave. Hands off football and Brexit, by the way. Mick Hume is Spike's editor-at-large. His latest book, Revolting: How the Establishment is Undermining Democracy, and What They're Afraid of, is published by William Collins. Buy it here. Picture by Getty. For permission to republish Spiked articles, please contact Viv Regan.